him, but we're not gonna be on that level of okay, but let's put a countdown to see when the president dies. We're not gonna do that shit. We're gonna get crazy eventually, but not that nuts. And we have respect, and we wish him a speedy recovery because we need that hand to sign checks because the economy needs these. Right now, and I'm sorry for that. I kind of got mixed up with the Spanish right there. But the thing is that even Wall Street is begging for this. This it's not the people who are needing, who are starving, because the thing is, and I don't want to be offensive to them, but the truth of the matter is that they don't have a voice. They don't have a voice. Many of the people who are struggling in their homes, many of the people who are now trying to fit into a new job life, and you don't know if your job is going to be there because the restrictions are restricting the whole economy as a whole. So it's not a thing about poor people who cannot make ends meet. It's more than that. It's the whole structure of the economy. We need this stimulus. We'll need these incentives the same way that they have been given to technology companies when the AOL Time Warner bubble burst, when we gave it to the real estate companies, to the real estate moguls who had all of those piles of stocks, when we had the real estate bubble in 2007, and then we had the first financial crisis in 2008. And what did the government of the United States do in all of those three cases? In the case of the AOL, I'm not going to be like loosely based on that. Time Warner is a really huge company, but it needed a kind of a little bit of a push, so it didn't tip over after that fiasco. And eventually, the thing is that in the case of the real estate bubble and the financial bubble, these ones were one behind the other, and one of them should have been like the advice, like this is coming to the other side. And what did the government do on that time? I remember it was under the Bush administration. What they did, they bailed out the banks. They bailed out the banks because the 2008 financial crisis was a sequel of what happened in 2007. And if you can watch the movie The Big Short with Steve Carell, and I forgot the name from that guy from the Driver. He has a meme and everything. Anyway, he's in that movie too. So we have The Big Short that explains you what happened with the real estate bubble that the banks were given. It was like in 2005. You don't have to. I strongly suggest that you see the movie so you understand what went on. But I don't know if you can remember anywhere you were, even if you were in Puerto Rico around the year 2003 and between the years 2003 and 2005. You could have like a hot dog stand, and next thing you know, you are in this big resort community with a two-story house, the garage and the resort pool with as the amenities of the community and everything. And it will happen like really fast because banks were not checking. And the thing that was the worst part of that, it was that they would tell you, okay, you're gonna get this house, you're gonna be paying like $1,000, and you're all okay, I could make that. I'm talking from the standpoint of, let's say, for example, for a hot dog vendor, right? And the thing is that a hot dog hamburger vendor, let's go with hamburger. A hamburger vendor, he starts selling shit, right? And he says 1,000, okay, I can make that, between the numbers, I can make that. But when he gets the first bill due, notice of what he has to pay $2,000, $3,000. Because what they were doing is that they were giving people this loophole so they will be approved of these houses, but these people did not have the credit. So the system and the interest became too variable. And it ended up being a really, really costly price for the people who were buying these homes. So this happened in 2007. It should have been an advice of what's coming in 2008. When Lehman Brothers, the year before, it was 2007, into the whole real estate financial bubble, Lehman Brothers lended out almost, I think it was in the rounds of 600 million,
600 million, nearby trillions dollars. That's how much they sold of shitty stock. And now we fast forward 2008, 12 years later, the whole economy is the one that needs incentive. But instead of doing, because I don't know why the United States could be stubborn with this. Because you saw that happen in 2008. What happens now? We don't got capital flow. We don't got capital flow because we got a lot of restrictions, and many businesses cannot attend the same amount of people that they would attend in a normal days. So what happens here is that when businesses start to operate, and what they need is that people be incensed, the people have money, so sorry for that. It's just that I'm reading here some stuff as well. I'm really sorry. I apologize for that. But the thing is that if you don't got capital flow, you don't got people buying stuff, even if it is online, then the thing is that you're dropping really, really fast. And that's why many of the Wall Street firms, many of the Wall Street moguls, magazines, and media are encouraging and asking even louder than the people who really need it, for more money, for more stimulus money. And I'm sorry for the Senate, the Republican Senate state of mind, but the thing is that this is something that will have to be repeated, and it doesn't have to pack this much drama. It can be, I don't know, you can get into some middle ground and this, because the thing is that the enhancement benefits to unemployment, they expired on July. What Trump gave was an executive order, and let's give you a heads up. Right here in Puerto Rico, the executive order that Trump signed in August, they haven't paid the $300 that were to be enhanced with the unemployment benefits. Because in Puerto Rico, that happened the same thing with the $1,200. It was like, we're waiting for the guidelines. We're waiting for the guidelines. As soon as the money, and the thing is that as soon as the money, the provision is signed, immediately after that process, I think it's between a week or two, there's guidelines. As soon as Trump signed that executive order giving that, there's a process that started in between a week. The funds are available, and these are the guidelines on how are you going to distribute it. But somehow the Labor Department of Puerto Rico never gets that memo. And the thing is, it happens, the same shit happens. And we know what they're doing. They're withholding money to take as much interest as they can, then take it out on the public. It's like, I don't know how the United States even allows for that. But the thing is that Puerto Rico, they never made the guidelines. The guidelines never made it here. Never. And it happened with the 1200. With the 1200, I remember that they had like 2 months withholding the money so it could gain interest, and then they started paying everybody. So now it's the same story with what Trump signed in August, September, we're now in October. And the people who are under unemployment benefits in Puerto Rico had not received the $300 of enhancement benefits because they have not received the guidelines. The guidelines, there's something that happens. We have email, we have text, we have many ways on which these guidelines, I think if I go myself to look at the executive order, I could find the guidelines myself by doing a little bit of a search in Google. But the thing is, in Puerto Rico, no. They decided no. They're withholding that money since August, 2 months, withholding millions and millions of dollars that were assigned to people who are struggling right now, are not getting there. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if many other states are doing that. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But the thing is that in Puerto Rico, the people is not getting their money. It's really sad, but every part of the economy is like asking for this, and it's really sad because the thing is that governments like Puerto Rico are going to be withholding money even if it gets approved, and the process, the tortuous process that it goes through is really stupid. The Republicans setting a bar too low, the Democrats setting a bar too high. It's like they want shit to happen. They want to be colliding against each other, and they forget that the fundamental thing that there's in the middle of all of them is the people. It's the people, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the ones that gets stuck in the middle. Those are the ones who are getting evicted of their homes. Those ones. Right now in Puerto Rico, if you remember, in 2017 we have Hurricane Maria, and we have people living under the tents that FEMA gives us. And even with all the fuckery that is going on in Puerto Rico right now, because as recently as January, we learned that the government had tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of storage and warehouses with stock, with survival stuff, diapers, milk, water. When this year started in Puerto Rico, we had the strain of earthquakes, especially one in January 7. When everything started in Puerto Rico, and that is what people found out. And it's really sad. It pisses me off, especially when I see two grown-ass men duking it out in front of national television, knowing, looking at their faces and knowing that they don't give a fuck. Because they don't. They don't give a fuck about anyone. It's not like the KKK is like surreally protected. It's like the KKK is serving a purpose right now of being the protective side to this, because they're standing behind ideologies that create all this hate to keep this whole hate cycle happening, so that we can stand divided and people do not see the real big picture. But the thing is that, and this is the first time that I think I'm officially, I say that I support it, but I'm going to be full-blown open with this. That's the first time that I think both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, need to look at the universal basic income model. And besides some of the theories, for example, there's a lot of theories that you can start with $1,000. For example, give a person $1,000 a month, and that's their universal basic income. For example, if they go and do a part-time job, for example, they earn around 300. They earn 150. They will be around 1,000 something. If they get a full-time job, they will be making $2,000. So in that way, those person can have everything that they need covered in the first $1,000. And the good thing is that there's ways in which the federal government does not have to carry that weight, because the thing is that everybody's like really pumped about universal basic income, but the thing is that what the people really less tackle is how are we going to collect from it. I think that what this whole crisis has proved, especially with the enhanced unemployment, because that's just the fucked up thing about discontinuing. Because if we would have had the 600 enhancement, or let's say that we were less than it, start with a 400, start with a year. Check out 400 is about $1,600, right? And you got the $1,600 monthly. That's it. And if you go to a part-time job, you're earning $2,000. You can pay a car, you can pay a house, you can pay your bills, you can pay cable, you can pay food. It's not gonna get you wealthy. It's not a free pass for people. But then in that case, you will live. And the thing is that what it becomes hard is to have a retired system, because this is where the universal basic income theory kind of falls apart, because it kind of the things for funding what it proposed to required is that you take away all the programs. And the thing is that, how about Medicaid? How about the Social